The cheapest motherboard you can find costs only $80. The most expensive one costs over $1,000. Both of the boards can run a gaming PC, but the more expensive board obviously comes with more features. But the box it comes in does a pretty bad job of telling you which features you actually need. Go too cheap and you don't have the wattage needed for a high-end CPU. Go too expensive and you just put $200 into port you'll never plug anything into. So let's find the best board at every budget on both AMD and Intel and figure out where your money stops doing anything useful. Let's do a quick foundation first, because it makes every pick after this more obvious. A more expensive motherboard will not make your games run any faster. What that extra money buys you instead is features. So the only real question is, which features do you actually need? And there are four main things we care about. The socket is the slot your processor drops into, and it decides your entire brand of chip. But we'll come back to that one later. Power delivery is one thing you might easily overlook. However, it's quite important to get it right. Because if a board can't deliver that much power, you're capping yourself in which CPUs you can choose. There are mainly two things that decide the power output of your motherboard. Firstly, we have the VRM, the voltage regulator module. It is a circuitry that actually feeds the chip. Besides that, we also have the EPS connector. It's a square plug on the top corner of the motherboard, which is where the power supply plugs in. Budget board usually only takes a single 8-pin, but a stronger one takes 8 plus 8. EPS is the clearest signal on the spec sheet for how much processor a board can comfortably feed. So it's worth it to pay close attention to that. Next up we have Wi-Fi. Plenty of people can't run an Ethernet cable to where the PC lives. If that's you, a board without Wi-Fi means buying an adapter later on. And doing it in 2 steps almost always costs more than getting it built in. And lastly, there are slots and ports. Memory slots, M.2 slots for your drives, and the connectors around the back. This is where boards pile on a lot of specs and where most of the overspending happens. AMD or Intel? On the current platforms, that's AM5 for AMD and LGA 1851 for Intel. The board follows the chip, so this comes first. The biggest difference between the two is about upgrades. AM5 is a socket with the longer future. You can drop in a new Ryzen chip a few years down the line on the same board, and those future chips tend to give you a lot more performance at roughly the same power draw. That's the appeal of AM5. It's not a hungrier chip, it's a faster one. Intel's LGA 1851 is the newer socket. But Intel tends to move sockets more often, and the next generation of Intel chips will not be on this socket. However, that upgrade path is only worth paying for if you'll actually use it. If you're building a PC once every 4 or 5 years, which is most people, then a dead-end socket costs you nothing, since you are going to rebuild from scratch anyways. So don't pick AM5 just for the socket. Pick whichever processor wins for your budget and let the board follow. If you want to see them side by side, we keep a live table of every board we track. It's at maxmybuild.com/motherboards. Filter by socket, by price, by features you care about, sorted cheapest first with a gaming and productivity score on each one. Links in the description. Now for the budgets. Cheapest one first. On AM5, the floor is the Gigabyte A620M S2H at $80. It's the least money there is to get into AM5, and with a mid-range chip, it's completely fine. Just know its limits going in. The EPS is a single 8-pin, so it's rated for around 150 watts only, which caps you at mid-range chips rather than the hungry high-end ones. It has 2 memory slots and no Wi-Fi. At $80, that's a fair trade. On Intel, the cheapest I'd actually buy is the ASRock B860 Pro-A at $120. $40 more than AMD floor, but look at what those $40 buy you. It's a full-size board, the EPS is 8 plus 8, it has 4 memory slots. Intel just doesn't get as cheap at the very bottom, but the cheapest board you'd want is a lot more capable. Still no Wi-Fi at this price, so factor that in if you need it. If we move up one step, then both platforms land in the exact same place. This is the tire that I'd point most people at, and it's a near perfect mirror. On AMD, the ASRock B850 Pro-A Wi-Fi. On Intel is the ASRock B860 Steel Legend Wi-Fi. Both comes in at $140. For EPS, they both have 8 plus 8 pins, and for Wi-Fi, they both have 6E. It's the same price, same power delivery, same Wi-Fi. So, at this tire, the board barely enters into it. You pick your processor and you buy the matching board. If we take the AMD one, that's $60 over the A620 floor. So let me justify it feature by feature, including the ones you don't need. First up is power headroom. 8 plus 8 instead of a single 8-pin. 300 watts instead of 150. This is the one I'd pay for without blinking, because it opens up the whole processor range instead of capping you at the middle. Secondly, Wi-Fi 6E built in. ASRock sells the same board without Wi-Fi for the same price, and the other non-Wi-Fi version is $10 more. So here the Wi-Fi actually doesn't cost you anything, so I take it even if you live right next to your router. Number 3, we have 4 memory slots instead of just 2. For gaming performance, this does nothing. What it gives you is a bit of flexibility later down the road. Though I'll be straight with you, adding a second kit down the line isn't always clean. mixing two kits can throw up stability issues, so it's a fallback, not a guarantee. It's nice to have, but I wouldn't pay much for it. And number 4, it has 4 M.2 slots for drives. That's more than most people will ever fill. One fast drive, plus a second for your gaming library, and it covers basically everyone. If you find a cheaper board with only 2 M.2 slots, then you're not really missing out on anything. So, of those $60, the power and the Wi-Fi are the real reasons. The rest is a bonus I wouldn't chase on its own. There is one chipset that I'll steer you around though. On AMD, if you see a B840 board, check the price of a B850 board right next to it. The B840 is the trimmed down version of the B850. It has fewer fast lanes, it has less headroom, and right now every in-stock B840 board costs more than the cheapest B850 board. So I don't think anyone did that on purpose, it's just how the stock and pricing landed this month, but the result is the same. So it's the one spot where I'd say don't weigh it up, just take the B850 instead. What processor are you pairing your board with? Drop it in the comments below, I'll read all of them. Now for the expensive motherboards, because there is one honest reason to go there. The high-end X870 on AMD and the C890 on Intel, most of these boards run $300 and up. So against the value pick, that's around $200 of nothing. But there's one real reason to pay for it. These boards guarantee USB 4. That's the fast do-everything port standard, and the cheaper boards mostly don't carry it. So if you use a dock daily or you have fast internal storage, then the high-end board could be worth it. But for everyone else, I'd say keep the money instead. I looked up 32 X870 boards that were in stock, and only 6 of them came in under $200. 14 of them are $300 and more. It's not that the X870 is a bad chip, it's that most of what's on the shelf is aimed well above where you need to be. The C890 on Intel's side is the same story. If you do want a cheap way in, the ASRock C890 Pro-A is $170. And on AMD, the Gigabyte X870 Gaming Wi-Fi 6 is $158. But do look closely before you assume that the pricier chipset is an upgrade. Gigabyte X870 Gaming Wi-Fi 6 only has 8+4 EPS, meaning that it's not able to deliver the same amount of power. And you also only get Wi-Fi 6 instead of 6E. So it isn't a straight up upgrade. You'd be trading power headroom for USB 4. It's a good trade if you want USB 4, but it's a bad one if you're just buying the bigger number. And if you'd rather skip all of this, the PC builder at MaxMyBuild.com does it for you. You put in your budget and it hands you a full parts list where everything fits together, board included. It's free, no account needed, is the first link in the description. So the board mostly comes down to which processor you picked. See this video on processors next to make sure you pick the right one.